Before we dig into the review, let's get this sugar out on the table first. Thank you, Johnny Depp, for taking on this role and being in this movie. Because for years, Johnny Depp's ultimately become kind of a Tim Burton-esque parody of himself. For a long time, I have really been wanting to see him take on a role where he could really flex his acting muscles because I knew the dude could do it. He did it in this movie. Thank you, Johnny Depp. He's never going to see this. Johnny Depp will never see this. But I just wanted to say that in the beginning. Now, let's review the movie. Black Mass. So Black Mass is a true story of Jimmy Whitey Bulger and ultimately his rise to being one of Boston's kingpins from his humble beginnings of just being one of Boston's assholes. So Johnny Depp plays this guy. Let's get right into this. Johnny Depp, this shit was transformation. It's one of those roles an actor takes on, you're like, you're not even there. It reminded me of Charlize Theron in Monster, where you're like, you're disturbing, you're kind of gross, and I don't want you near my house, near my wife, my kids, my girlfriend, my dog, my mother. I just don't want you near me. This guy with his dead-eye grin and his sick little laugh. Johnny Depp kills it in this movie. He carries most of this entire thing. Another great performance is Joel Edgerton in this movie. Joel Edgerton works for the FBI. He grew up with Whitey Bulger. They kind of form an alliance where it's like, hey, I'll cover your ass, you cover my ass, and maybe we can rise the ranks in our own little worlds together. And there's some corrupt ass shit going on. Murder, mayhem. It spans like 10 years in this movie. The bummer is everyone in this movie is an asshole. There's no real good guy leading the charge. No, there's no protagonist to take out the antagonist. I really think this movie could have benefited from that, but it's not in the movie because the main FBI agent linked to the case is the one covering his ass. So you see some disturbing shit go down, but at a point it becomes like Game of Thrones where you don't even get shocked anymore. You're like, yeah, someone else died. I know. See, if this movie had the guy, you know, like Carl Hanratty chasing down Leonardo DiCaprio and Catch Me If You Can, Al Pacino going after Robert De Niro and Heat, it would have really added a lot of tension to it. There is a guy who comes into the movie who looks like he's going to be that guy, but really he comes in near the end of the movie. He doesn't really do much, and then the movie's over and you're like, well, that could have been awesome. See, if you had that other FBI guy really take the reins and lead the charge, like the movie implies that he does, but you never really see it, the first half of this movie would have felt like Joel Edgerton and Johnny Depp's playground. Then this guy comes in and he is here to just bring it all down. But you don't really get that, and I feel like that's a wasted opportunity. See, I'm gonna say something really shocking here because I know I'm known for being the guy who's like, oh, that movie was about a half an hour too long. You could have cut 30 minutes out of that movie. It would have been perfect. I usually talk about how movies are too long and could be shorter. This movie is a 2-hour movie that feels like it was going to be a 3-hour movie. The movie really could have benefited from being 3 hours long. That way we could have seen some emotional gravity to the situations. We could have taken our time in this movie. The 10-year span wouldn't have felt so condensed. You give it time to breathe. See, this movie, as much as it's a mob movie, doesn't feel like it's a mob epic like The Departed, Goodfellas, Godfather. In the end, Black Mass is an interesting true story because you're watching it, you're like, I can't believe this shit happened. You can't make this stuff up. Johnny Depp kills it in this movie. He's great. The supporting cast in this movie, they're really good too. I walked out of this movie glad I watched it, but I think about it, I'm like, am I going to own this movie? And in reality, I'm probably not going to. I just don't feel the need to pop in Black Mass on Blu-ray and watch it again. Although Black Mass has a solid Johnny Depp performance, the best I've seen from him in years. And I'll certainly say Black Mass is worth watching and is a good time. No alcohol required. All right, guys, so Black Mass, have you seen it? What did you think about it? What's your favorite Johnny Depp movie of all time? Whatever it is, whatever you think, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.